So what are 9 things that I wish I knew before moving to Airdrie, Alberta, or 9 things that people should know before they move here to Airdrie, Alberta? Okay, number 1, no Ikea. Seriously, everything else is super close by. When we moved here, there was almost nothing for conveniences like shopping. There was a dingy old Canadian Tire and a tired old Safeway. But now there's a ton. And what isn't right here in town is just a couple minutes away at the Cross Iron Mills complex, even a Bass Pro and a Costco. Now number 2 is Airdrie is not very walkable. This is still pretty true. Airdrie is pretty spread out. There is a downtown area right in the center of the west side of Airdrie, but most of the shopping is right at the south end of town, and that's cut clean in two by the Queen Elizabeth II highway, the freeway that cuts Airdrie in half. Number 3 is the transit system. Now, there didn't used to be one at all. When I first moved here, there was no way to take a bus. Zero, zilch, and nada. No way at all to take a bus into the city or even around town. There was nothing. But gradually, a few options emerged, and Airdrie finally developed Airdrie Transit. And it's improving. It's getting actually pretty good. It even features dedicated buses to go into Calgary, the Intercity Express or the ICE buses. This is a growth area for Airdrie. This has been a huge addition to the city, from zero to decent and improving. Now, if Calgary's new Green Line train that's planned would extend just a little bit further right to Airdrie, then we'd have something for sure. Just before number 4, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Glenn Heslop with eXp Realty. I'm your local Airdrie realtor. I've lived in this area for like some 30 odd years. If this is your first time here on this channel and you want to know everything about living in Airdrie, Alberta, this is your channel. Like and subscribe. I'm shooting tons and tons of videos all about living in Airdrie, Alberta. Different neighborhoods, different issues, the commute, all you're going to want to know about if you're considering a move here to Airdrie, Alberta. If you're planning to relocate here to Alberta, make sure you reach out. Send me a text, give me a call, fire me an email, whatever works. I've got your back when moving here to Alberta. Number 4, proximity. We used to live about 5-minute walk from Genesis Place in the east side of Airdrie. Our kids loved it. Your enjoyment of the city can change depending on what it is important for you to be near and choosing a home near that. It was so cool for the kids to be able to grab their swimming suit and towel and either walk or bike over and go for a swim just so close by, just 5 minutes away. Okay, slightly more controversial. Number 5, airplanes and trains. Now, Airdrie is located just north of Calgary and just north of the Calgary International Airport. So it seems like there's always airplanes overhead. Yeah, some parts of Calgary have the same issue too, particularly parts of the northeast. Now, since the Calgary airport expanded and added a large new runway to the east, there's quite a bit more traffic, air traffic over top of East Airdrie than there used to be. And for the first 6 months or so, people were commenting about that. And in West Airdrie, there's a railway line that cuts north-south right through the middle of West Airdrie. It's a busy line with lots of trains. I think last I heard a number, it was something like 16 trains a day. There is some noise associated with that, and of course there's some delay at railway crossings. The good news is, although there is some noise and inconvenience associated with these things, honestly, it doesn't really affect us that much, and most of us don't really notice it anymore. And the rest of awesome Airdrie is enough to just make it worth dealing with a little bit of inconvenience. Okay, number 6, really cool bike paths. Airdrie has quite a few bicycle and walking paths that go all over the city. I really don't think these are publicized very well. I really don't think most people that are considering a move here really know how many there are and how cool they are. Hey, one of them from the neighborhood of Luckstone even has its own little tunnel. It goes right under the railroad tracks. So the kids from Luckstone can go right under the tracks, right over to Nose Creek Park, the beautiful big park, and playing over there in this park without ever crossing the railroad tracks or even a road for a bunch of them. And there's also a pedestrian and bicycle bridge that goes right over top of the Queen Elizabeth II highway, the freeway that cuts through Airdrie, from the east side to the west side of Airdrie. So you can bike across the highway and go to Genesis Place, again, without crossing the big freeway. Pretty cool. Okay, number 7, the city government here in Airdrie is super approachable and very efficient. I've been around here a long time, and I guess I've forgotten how unusual this is. I brought some Calgary clients out here, and they were looking to purchase a property and make some zoning changes. I drove them right to Airdrie City Hall, we walked into the City Hall, walked up to the planning department, and in a couple minutes we were speaking to one of the decision makers in city planning. My clients were flabbergasted. Both of them worked for the city of Calgary, and they're like, yeah, this would never have happened in Calgary. That you're just in a couple of minutes, you're talking to the right person that can give you a real answer to your question. Well, welcome to Awesome Airdrie. Okay, this one's a little more bombastic. Number 8, hail. Okay, so this is a prairies thing, but this happens a lot, it seems, here in Airdrie. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but we can get some hailstorms here that are seemingly like to biblical proportions. They can seem like one of the plagues that Moses called onto the land of Egypt back in the Bible. These can trash roofs, break windows, siding, damage cars. It can be pretty traumatic. The good news is these are normally covered by insurance, so they're a little bit of a hassle, but not that big a deal. Insurance premiums are a little bit higher than some areas, but this is manageable. Okay, this is the controversial one. Number 9, no hospital. This has been an annoyance to Airdrie residents for a long time. We are a for real city, one of the fastest growing cities in Alberta and in the country, and no hospital. I think one of the reasons is we're about 25-minute drive from the nearest hospital in Calgary. But after much lobbying a few years ago, Alberta Health finally opened a 24-hour urgent care here, kind of like an emergency department. And kind of a fun aside here, when waiting times are low in Airdrie, we actually get people coming out from Calgary to wait here to see a doctor, because it's a little faster sometimes than in Calgary. Okay, like I said, the city of Calgary and the Peter Lougheed Hospital is about 25 minutes away into northeast Calgary. But here in Airdrie, we have a bit of a secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. Didsbury and the Didsbury Hospital are also about 25 minutes away to the north in the small town of Didsbury. And there's almost never much of a lineup. It's usually just 2 or 3 people ahead of you, and sometimes none. So why does Didsbury get a hospital and not Airdrie? Dunno, we've been asking that question for years. But anyway, it's actually a pretty good alternative. If the wait times are long in Airdrie and in Calgary, you can just zip up 25 minutes to Didsbury to see a doc there. Docs there are usually great, and it's a pretty quick service. So I'm a local realtor here with eXp Realty. I've lived in the area for some like 20 odd years and seem to know about every nook and cranny of this area. I'm shooting tons and tons of videos all about living here in Airdrie, Alberta. Different neighborhoods, different issues, all about the commute, and where to buy a home, all the different issues you're gonna wanna know about if you're considering a move here to Airdrie, Alberta. Hey, leave a note in the comments below of things you'd like to see in a video, questions you'd like to see answered, and I'd be glad to make a video about them as well. Hey, if you're thinking about relocating here, give me a call, shoot me a text, a telephone call, an email, whatever it works. I've got your back on moving here to Airdrie, Alberta. Now I'm gonna pop a couple more videos up here on the screen. If you wanna know more about living in Airdrie, Alberta, watch one of these 2 videos, or go to youtube.com/@livingin Airdrie, Alberta, and watch them all.